What is up, my andronauts? Let's talk about Ginkgo biloba on testosterone, DHT, dopamine, estrogen, and so much more. Is it a good herb for an andronaut to use, or should andronauts avoid this specific herb? Before we dive into the video, be sure to get my manual on how to double your testosterone in 2 weeks. If you would like to work with me, links are in the description. Let's dive in. So let's dive right into the good stuff when it comes to Ginkgo biloba on DHT. Ginkgo biloba plus exercise increased DHT more than either one alone. So here you can see the control supplemented Ginkgo biloba, exercise, Ginkgo biloba plus exercise increased DHT, whereas Ginkgo alone had no effect, exercise alone only had a slight effect. So it's a synergistic combo. So what you can do is take your Ginkgo biloba before workout for an additional boost in DHT. This is a study in Ginkgo biloba in humans, looking at the hormonal effects. And so here are some of the specifics. Subjects were administered the standard EGB 761 formulation, basically nature's way product called Ginkgo Gold. And each tablet contained extract of 50 to 1 Ginkgo biloba, standardized to 60 milligrams, to 24% Ginkgo flavanols, glycosides, and 6% terpene lactones, and so on. All right. They took two 60 milligram capsules at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. for a total of 240 milligrams per day. And here is what happened. Cortisol decreased from 15 to 13.7. Then we have testosterone from 726 to 706. That's a 20-point decrease. I would say that's really insignificant because of fluctuations over time. And anyway, DHT 81 to 81, basically neutral. Some people would say that Ginkgo inhibits, lowers DHT. It doesn't. And then when you look at the testosterone to DHT ratio, because of that small decrease, you have a bigger DHT to testosterone ratio. Androstenedione decreased a little bit. I don't think that's significant. We have androsterone and epiandrosterone sulfate that increase. Now, androsterone and epiandrosterone are 5-alpha reduced metabolites coming from DHT. So if this increased, basically shows that there's actually a increase in conversion of DHEA into these 5-alpha metabolites. So DHEA sulfate basically remained the same. SHBG decreased slightly. I think that's insignificant. Free testosterone remained the same, and the free androgen index decreased slightly, but I would say that's insignificant. So at best, it has a neutral effect. Ginkgo biloba has a neutral effect on your hormones. It's unlikely to increase testosterone or DHT. It doesn't have a positive or a negative effect. At least this is what I see from the studies. Now, Ginkgo biloba on testosterone and prolactin in rats, so when you give enough of this specific extract that they actually used in humans as well, you will see that testosterone did increase from 10 to 15 milligrams per kilogram, but it then slightly decreased by 100 milligrams per kilogram. So in animals, at least, there seems to be a benefit. So maybe long-term use in humans at the right dose, there might also be a benefit. Now, keep in mind, when you're using 15 milligrams per kilogram, in rats, that would translate to about 800 milligrams for a 100 kilogram human, right? So most supplements contain about 240. So you probably want to double or triple that dose, but maybe that will be too strong of an effect for most people to handle. And the same thing, prolactin went down in the higher doses you took, but then you took 100 milligrams and then it didn't have that lowering effect. So the sweet spot seems to be around 50 milligrams per kilogram, which is about 8.11 milligram per kilogram human equivalent dose. So take your weight, multiply by 8.11. Estrogen might help to lower estradiol. Here you can see the extract of Ginkgo biloba reducing the activity of aromatase. Quite effective, almost by 60% reduction in aromatase activity. And then they looked at the individual components in Ginkgo biloba. The Ginkgo biloba extract is a complex mixture of over 300 compounds. Its major components are 24% flavonoids and 6% terpene lactones. The flavonoids, the three major ones, are camphorol, quercetin, and isohamnetin. And when you use them synergistically, they synergistically inhibit aromatase. So individually, they also inhibit aromatase, but synergistically, together, the most effective. It's also been shown to increase dopamine and norepinephrine specifically. It has no effect on serotonin. So a single dose of Ginkgo biloba had no effect on monoamine levels. However, following chronic exposure, in this case, it was only for 14 days, the same dose significantly increased extracellular dopamine and norepinephrine, while serotonin levels were unaffected. Chronic treatment with ginkgo biloba extract showed a dose-dependent increase in frontocortical dopamine levels as well as to a lesser extent in the stratum. So you might expect a more dopaminergic norepinephrine boost, which could help with libido, motivation and drive, creativity, all of those good stuff that you want. Without that increase in serotonin, which might contribute to more fatigue and a loss in libido and stuff like that. It's also a great adaptogen. Chronic administration of ginkgo biloba was reported to reduce stress-induced release in whole brain levels of catecholamines and serotonin. So serotonin contributes to chronic fatigue, especially if it's chronically elevated. This plant modifies the cerebral blood flow and might help to reduce fatigue and inattention. So you get more blood flow in the brain, more oxygen and nutrients going to the brain, fueling the brain so it can work better. It has gut benefits as well by increasing beneficial bacteria such as lactobacilli, Akkermansia, and Alloprevotella. So it helps to reduce inflammation, help to reduce fat gain, just improve health overall. Reduces leaky gut and intestinal inflammation. So this is key because there's a gut everything axis. You might know about the gut brain axis, there's a gut liver axis, but there's actually a gut everything axis. So when the gut is not healthy, it can negatively affect every part of your body, and everyone manifests those symptoms in a different way. But it's really key to optimize your gut health, and ginkgo biloba might help with that. All right, guys, so ginkgo biloba is unlikely to do anything beneficial for your testosterone or DHT, but at least it's neutral. It's not going to inhibit it. At the right dose, it might actually lower estrogen and prolactin. So it will definitely improve your testosterone to estrogen ratio, and most likely your testosterone to cortisol ratio as well, because it is a good adaptogen. So I've personally not used ginkgo biloba in any meaningful doses for any meaningful period of time, so I can't comment on how it works for me. So I would like to hear from you guys, if you have used ginkgo biloba before, please let me know in the comments your experience with it. I would love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something new. I will check you in the next one. Cheers, guys.